What's a sign you aren't attractive? Story 1. Hang out around a kid under 8. They'll tell you everything you need to know about yourself, including if you're ugly, fat, or smell. Story 2. When you're ugly, people look at you and are generally not polite. If people don't look at you and you feel invisible, you are average. If people look at you and are nice and even helpful towards you, you're attractive. Answer. There's an interesting video on YouTube where a former CIA executive discussed espionage in films, and one of the big takeaways I had from the video was that if and when an operative is trying to go undercover, they want to be as average-looking as possible. Ugly? People notice you. Attractive? People notice you. Average bland? People may have a hard time even recalling what you look like. Story 3. Sometimes when I look in the mirror, it doesn't seem that bad. However, I had a toddler call me scary, I had a middle schooler call me ugly. My sister-in-law said I look like a child molester. I've been single for a long time and no one ever asks me why edit, wow, this blew up. Just to clarify, all these comments happened years ago. IRC my SIL was referring to my driver's license photo. It still hurt though because she's usually not like that. I don't wish her any ill will and I don't want anyone else to either. But there's been other negative comments over the years and I'm struggling to remember any compliments on my appearance. Yes, I have a beard and glasses and I'm not good with eye contact. Also, I'm widowed, but I still visit my wife's family often. Answer. I've dated twice IRL and neither of them were actually attracted to me and have been dumped online several times for being ugly, so I feel the last one. My only upper hand is 2 nieces who are beautiful little souls and have never called anything ugly in their life. And the fact I rarely leave my house so middle schoolers can't call me ugly. My brother's kids aren't subtle about it though, so I guess it cancels out. Love the username BTW. Story 4. If you're a female, then the answer is that men don't pay attention to you. If you're a male, the answer is women don't want you to pay attention to them. Story 5. People don't look at you. If you find yourself in a crowd of people and not a single person is looking at you, you're probably not attractive. This is one thing that really stands out when you glow up. You get so used to being invisible, then all of a sudden it feels like everyone is staring at you all the time. It can feel very uncomfortable. Answer. I got out of a toxic long-term relationship in January and have lost 60 LABs since then. I feel better than I have in years, like I finally got my confidence back. But going out in public feels different now. I used to feel invisible when I had gained weight in that relationship. Now I feel seen, and it's a strange adjustment. It's a great feeling, but it comes with pressure too. Like I'm not used to being perceived this much. It's empowering, but a little scary at the same time. Story 6. A new lady at my work was telling me how practically every man in the place had approached her and tried to make conversation within her first week. When she asked me if they did the same to me when I started, I had to try and explain as cheerfully as I could that no, not a single man has willingly approached me in the entire year I've been working here. She went on to talk about how it happens everywhere she goes, always getting approached and how annoying it is, and I sympathize. But the concept is so truly alien to me that I struggle to imagine it. Story 7. If you're attractive, you know it. Women flirt with you. If you're ugly, you know it. No one flirts with you, and if you comment on your looks, people cobble together reassurances. If you're just not attractive, you know that too. You don't turn any heads, but no one rushes to shore up your feelings if you mention your looks. Answer. This is anecdotal, but as someone with good-looking friends, ugly friends, and average friends, when one of my good-looking friends brags about being hot or jokes about being ugly, The gang will bust their balls. You're ugly as sin, mate. I know two fat fudge and you're both of them. When one of my ugly friends jokes about being ugly, everyone's like, no, you're not ugly. What are you talking about? Story 8. Serious reply here of a more subtle thing. You find yourself having to clarify, explain, and defend neutral opinions or statements more. I went from hot to not, and it blew my mind how much people just believed me and nodded along before I got ugly. Story 9. Don't need any signs. I'm an ugly guy. Been that way my whole sad life. Now I'm old too. I look like a cross between Danny DeVito and Steve Buscemi. When I fell off the ugly tree, I hit every branch on the way down. Story 10. Children are afraid of you. People don't smile at you in public. People avoid physical contact with you, like not sitting next to you in public transport or ducking your physical greetings. Answer. I don't really understand comments like this. I'm unattractive. I know I am, but children aren't afraid of me. A little girl smiled at me the other day while I was serving her mother in the shop. I do get smiles from strangers every now and then when we make eye contact, like I've made eye contact with random girls in random places, and they sometimes smile. People do sit next to me on public transport. I know I'm unattractive, though. I've seen what I look like in photos, and I've been single for years. Story 11. Every time I go out with my friends, men will only listen when they talk and act like I don't exist when I say something. Also, the only compliment I get about my appearance is nice eyes. Answer. Same, I have really good-looking friends, and there's definitely been times we were out and men were talking to them and ignoring me. Sometimes even worse happens. I once tried to talk in what I thought was a group conversation, only to be glared at by the men complete with eye rolls and expressions of disgust. I dropped that friend, though, because I don't expect anything from men, but my friend should have told them to fudge off. Story 12. Speaking as a hideous woman. You are invisible to men when it comes to dating and relationships. You never get any compliments on your appearance. People on the street give you strange looks when you pass them and start whispering behind your back. In a nutshell, you attract attention, but not in a positive way. Story 13. You get pigeonholed as a friend 10 seconds into your first interaction. I'll tell my unattractive single friend about you. Story 14. Nobody really wants to talk to you or spend time with you. You're mostly tolerated, not liked. People only hang out with you during forced events like school or work. Story 15. If you insult your appearance in front of others, they just laugh or reply, "Oh, don't say that," but don't actually correct you. Story 16. People won't engage in conversations with you or have interest in knowing you. I thought it was the norm until I went out with a friend who was attractive by social standards, and in the 3 or 4 hours we were hanging out, more than 3 girls came by to ask for his number or just to talk to him. And for those girls, I was invisible. That was the day I knew I wasn't. Story 17. When classmates are going around saying nice things about everyone. When they get to you, though, there is a long pause followed by, "He has teeth." Story 18. As a woman who has been seen as unattractive, average, and attractive, I can say this. When you're seen as unattractive, the first thing you feel is invisibility. People avoid eye contact, ignore you, and only engage when they absolutely have to. But when you do need to interact, like asking for help or clarification, the difference becomes impossible to ignore. You can feel that you're a burden. Their responses lack warmth, patience, or any real attention. It's not direct hostility, just a cold disinterest that makes it clear they'd rather not be dealing with you. Some will still help, but it feels more like a formality than genuine kindness. You sense they want to get it over with as quickly as possible. Meanwhile, those same people will happily go out of their way for someone they find attractive, offering time, support, or even opportunities, and doing it with visible enthusiasm. That contrast is very real, and unless you've experienced both sides, you probably don't realize just how deeply it shapes the way people are treated. Story 19. When nobody ever tells you that you're attractive, good-looking people are told that they're good-looking from the time they're babies, darn near every day of their lives, by strangers. Story 20. Then mirrors shatter when you look into them, and blind kids start screaming in terror when you walk into the room. Story 21. People make a big deal over how smart or funny you are. Natalie Portman has a degree from Harvard, but nobody talks about how smart she is. When was the last time anyone talked about how attractive Mayim Bialik is? Story 22. When I was a teenage boy, I was one of the most handsome dudes at my high school. Lots of girls would randomly talk to me, hit on me. 5 of them even asked me out directly during those years. I was extremely immature, however. I didn't care about dating at all. All I cared about was playing video games 247. At around 16 or 17, I finally went through brain puberty, but also had a horrible physical glow down in the process. Girls don't smile at me, don't hit on me, or ask me out since then anymore. It's been tough. It's crazy how easy it is to get girls when you're an attractive guy. I was stupid and did not yet care, and I was still getting girls' attention. Story 23. Members of the opposite intimacy tell you about their partners without you asking. My boyfriend is over 6'5" and a rugby player. Well, that's great, but can I place my order now? Story 24. People ignore you until they absolutely need you for something. People will talk about how hot someone is, say disgusting things that they want to do to hot people in front of you, as if you're not in their vicinity. Basically, invisible. Story 25. Some signs include you're getting ignored on social media in real life, getting bullied, spend the majority of your time in isolation, getting funny looks from people. People always say they're doing overtime at work, or at their family's wedding or funeral, or they don't answer their phone when you ring them. You might even later find out from some randomer who got tagged in your family friends post that they were actually having a nice meal out together. But when you confront them, they will lie to your face and tell you, "We tried to ring but couldn't reach you," or something along those lines, even though your phone is always on. You will value kindness, integrity, and loyalty over material gain because you likely have learned early that material gain is meaningless and know the sharp sting of what being lonely and bullied means. So, you work extra hard at work and be nice to everyone, only to find your attractive 19-year-old coworker is somehow a manager after 5 weeks when you've been doing the same exceptional job for 6 years. Basically, it's like loading up a game of Halo 3 on Legendary mode, on solo campaign, watching all your good-looking friends play it on easy. Looks matter, friend. Story 26. Not really what people consider an ugly guy. So take what I will say with a grain of salt, but I think people's eyes are a good sign. People can't look away from a train wreck, especially if you are a really ugly girl. People glance at beautiful people, but they stare when someone doesn't look normal. If people don't look at you when you're outside, then you are likely a very solid average, and a change in wardrobe and a good skin routine is enough to elevate that to above average. People who are horribly scarred. However, people stare at them. They try not to interact with them, if or not. Heavily scarred, injured, and people still treat you like that, then chances are we're very ugly. Story 27. Maybe people never asking anything to someone. For X. Never getting asked for information in the street or a cigarette, even if you don't smoke. or a street name. I believe that being attractive is literally being magnetic because of the energy you put out. So if people don't feel like gravitating towards one person ever, it might mean this person's energy is off. Another one is never getting a compliment based on your appearance, style, or haircut ever. Story 28. People of the opposite intimacy don't talk to you. They just ignore you. I was on Erasmus and had a big mixed group of friends. Barely spoke to the guys though. Started to leave my glasses at home on nights out and wear skirts and heels instead of trousers and loafers. And then, suddenly, they all wanted to talk to me, LOL. Story 29. These replies are heartbreaking no matter what any of us in society think. You're never ugly. It's our beauty standards that have decided these things. But the most beautiful people are the ones with good, pure hearts. The most hideous people on earth are the ones with very wretched souls, aka evil hearts. If you saw how they looked inwardly, even the beautiful ones would all be terrified. So don't let society trick you out of your value. Also, anyone that calls you ugly like it's nothing, there you go. They've proved my point. Story 30. It's really interesting to see for people like me who gain and lose weight oftenly how women treat you differently. Story 31. If I'm not wearing makeup and wearing my glasses and a baggy hoodie hiding my hair and baggy pants, I feel like I have invisibility superpowers. No one looks your way. People don't look you in the eyes. It's so shockingly different. I've always been pretty confident in my looks, but only then did I appreciate what everyone was talking about with pretty privilege. I'm not saying I'm God's gift to earth, to be clear. Just have experienced both, the average and attractive experience, to at least some degree, though my stunning model-looking friend legit seems to have superpowers. It makes me sad, BC. Aging will likely have the same impact, a disappearance act. Story 32. The fact that I just got suggested this post by my phone while crying in my car, not my day but another comedic hit in my series of true unfortunate events. Story 33. People sprinkling you with holy water and frightened mothers quickly shooing their families indoors. Story 34. When you are severely lacking self-confidence or self-esteem, regardless of how you physically look, people immediately, naturally sense it and will be unlikely to find you attractive. Story 35. Before I got married, people told me that unscrupulous women would flock to my wedding band and throw themselves at me. 20 years, no hits. Solidified what I already knew. I'm ugly. Story 36. Ooh, I can answer this. The world will let you know. It is your universe, your lived experience. You will see that rules of life are different for you. Story 37. You always get unnoticed. For example, your boss of 10 years still doesn't remember your name, or high school classmates forgot who you are but remember others. Story 38. I don't believe this is a thing. I think everyone is attractive to someone. Some are by looks, some by humor, some by body, some by income, some by conversation, some by talent and skill, some by intellect, some by creativity or artistry, and so on. You've never seen a couple in public and thought to yourself, what is he doing with her? Or vice versa, because attractiveness isn't sold on appearance alone. Story 39. The only likes from real people are from overweight, and I mean super overweight, not the cute kind of plump kind. And you find out because you partied too hard money on Tinder Gold or whatever it was called to find out who it was. I'm never using those apps again. I doubt it's changed since 2021. People like your personality and character online, but as soon as they see your face, go central. Women don't give you a second glance in public either. Story 40. I got ugly over time as I gained weight. Men stopped being scary to me, stopped following me. It's kinda nice, LOL. Story 41. It's as simple as people acting like you don't exist. If you're attractive, people basically don't leave you alone. You will get random conversations while grocery shopping or something. You will get constant smiles from people. People actively choose to be near you and seek you out for conversation. You're invited to things, etc. If you're invisible, you're ugly. Or at least so unremarkable you might as well be ugly. Story 42. People aren't hitting on you. I, 37M, lost 115 pounds last year, then started lifting weights and dressing well. It is unreal the amount of attention I get. Almost all women are friendlier, and am getting flirted with all the time. I've always been attractive, but now that I'm in shape, it's like night and day. Story 43. Considering I was bullied all my life for my looks, and I once had a guy block me after seeing my face, I'd say I'm ugly lol. Story 44. If you can't remember the last time anyone gave you a compliment about your appearance, or you're still holding on to the one time a girl in 4th grade said you were cool despite being in your 30s. Story 45. I learned embarrassingly recently that some men have strangers strike conversations with them. So, that. Story 46. The different attitude you get from women. I have one friend who I would usually go to bars and clubs with. He's 66, played college football, is in great shape, has the square jawline and everything. It was typically a stark contrast in how they respond to conversation from him versus me. Story 47. The fight-or-flight response you get from approaching a group of teenagers in public. In middle school, I was always a target for being ridiculed for my looks. I've gained a lot of confidence in my adulthood, but every now and then, some little brats will make fun of ugly strangers for no reason. Story 48. I've encountered this girl at the gym a few times. We crossed looks and smiled at each other. She was pretty, and I thought, maybe I have a shot across the next few days. We were just looking at each other, and I really felt some chemistry there. However, when we finally met, and I was ready to ask for her name or number or whatever people do to meet people for dates, she finally told me she wasn't glancing at me because she liked me. She just liked the t-shirts I wore to the gym. Granted, they're intentionally humorous, and it really made me feel like a dumbass. Story 49. I have to work for female attention. I have no luck if I can't make them laugh. I had a stalker once. I let her get to know me. She still dumped me. Story 50. A huge sign that you aren't attractive is that nobody concerns themselves with you after you make a long, big public showing, meaning you've made decent friends and acquaintances. Holy shoot, I can't spell. But they don't bother checking up on you or finding ways to hang with you. And I don't mean attractive as in physical. I really mean personality-wise. Story 51. Weird story, but my weight changes constantly. I've been fat, skinny, athletic, etc. And people are infinitely nicer when I'm athletic or on the skinny side. Like scarily, to the point where girls laugh at my jokes more and people want to talk to me more. Story 52. No one has ever told you that you look good. Usually they try to ignore this type of conversation with you. Or kids say you look ugly. Story 53. When I'm walking with an attractive person and someone walks up to them and say, "You're really pretty," then awkwardly look at me and say, "You too," out of pity. Story 54. I was set up with a friend's friend and we met at a bar that did karaoke. She walked in, I waved, she turned to my friend yelling, "I thought you said he was cute." That might be a sign. Story 55. If you're in a crowded area like a classroom or lecture hall, You might notice people aren't sitting next to you. Story 56. I am convinced the attractiveness is not about the looks you were born with, but how you feel and behave. I've seen some women and men who would not be considered attractive by the world's standard, yet they attracted a lot of attention to themselves just by being confident and charismatic. Story 57. When someone refers to ugly people in conversation, then stops and look you in the eye and says, "No offense." Story 58. If all your parents' friends comment on Facebook photos of you saying things like, she is so grown up, rather than she is beautiful, he is handsome. Story 59. When your friends talk about setting up their other friends with people they know and never suggest you. Story 60. If you're a guy, you're in luck. No matter how unattractive your face are, if you're ripped, financially stable, and has best character, you'll be desired. That is something we can work out. Story 61. As I read these comments, I'm just going to say, fudge that when it comes to how attractive I am to others. To me, life is about living it. Life is too short and we have limited energy throughout each day to be misusing it on people who lack the social skills to treat people fairly regardless of attraction status. Find the style that makes you say, "Hell yeah, I look good in this," to the mirror. Make your style yours and be genuinely passionate about it. What colors do you like? What is your favorite materials to wear? What type of pants and shirts do you enjoy wearing the most? I hope these are useful reminders to some of you who struggle being out in public. Don't make decisions around people or enable people who don't know how to treat others properly. Don't make their insecure struggles become your own. People who are being passive-aggressive simply due to your looks don't deserve your dignity. Story 62. When your parents' friends compliment you as getting big, and no, I really don't mean that like gaining weight, like they saw you as a baby and have seen you grow up, and instead of saying, "Wow, you've gotten so handsome, beautiful," it's, "You've gotten so big, you were just a baby when I last saw you." Like, thanks for the compliment, didn't really have a choice to grow up. Story 63. A sign you aren't attractive? When even your reflection avoids eye contact. But seriously, everyone's got their own vibe. Sometimes it's not about looks, but how you carry your jerk. Confidence is way more attractive than any face. Story 64. People ignore you. You can feel them ignore you purposely. Avoidance of smile or eye contact. You feel invisible. Story 65. My mom used to tell me you're attractive but you're not beautiful. When even your own mother doesn't think you're beautiful, that's a pretty good sign that no one else does either. Story 66. When you tell your friend or someone that you're ugly, and instead of saying you're not, they just say, "Don't say that about yourself." Story 67. When your parents have to hang sausage links around your neck just to get the dogs to play with you. No respect. Story 68. When your friends who document everything in their lives and post it on social media omit the photos that have you in them. Story 69. I feel like people randomly don't expecting you somewhere and making this scared jump with their body. I had it happen multiple times. Story 70. Downloaded my Bumble swipe data to see if I'm even being shown, and see several thousand women have seen me and said absolutely no thank you. Story 71. People have mentioned that I look like famous unattractive people, Kevin Spacey, Paul Rubens, a Caucasian Andrew Yang, amongst others. Story 72. Hey, just wanted to say, don't let what other people think define you. I'm sure there are ways you can boost your confidence by finding your